All right, so Joel's gonna give me a ride through his farm. So glad to meet him. Jump on in. All right. Great. So
this is my truck called Tonka.
Okay. You have pretty amazing what you've done out here. I'm so impressed.
Well, let's take a look here.
I'm just wondering what's like some of the differences from like farms when I was driving in compared to your farm. It looked like a lot of corn being grown on the way in.
Yeah, well, the main thing here is that the animals are moving all the time. They're not in the same place. See the rabbits there. The rabbits are moved every day to a fresh spot. And another thing is, of course, there's a lot of species here, and there's no plow and no planter.
So why don't you use a plow? That's kind of like a traditional thing of American farmers.
It's also traditional to rape the soil too and conquistador the landscape. So we don't use the plow because it's the most destructive force in nature. Fortunately, now there are some really cool things that have been developed through pasture cropping, which developed in Australia, to be able to use the livestock as an herbicide to be able to plant an annual crop in an existing sod without killing it, and get a crop off while the sod maintains ground cover underneath it. It's quite new, but it's taken Australia by storm. There's a couple thousand farmers in Australia doing it. We have our second trial going on right now, and are extremely excited about its potential.
Oh, so what do you grow?
Well, right now we have corn, cowpeas, pearl millet, and sorghum.
And the cows don't eat it, or?
Oh, the cows do eat it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but what you're doing is you're using the cows. Yeah, we can jump out here.
All right. Wow.
Yeah, what you're doing is you're using the cows as a retardant on the existing sod, on the forage, to weaken it temporarily, strategically, in order to get the annual germinated up through it, and then the sod can just kind of sit there and simmer underneath, and you never kill anything. You don't have to use any herbicide or fertilizer or anything. It's quite a wonderful way to get an annual.
So you're kind of mimicking nature, huh?
Yeah. So these are the broilers, the meat birds, and so these are in portable floorless shelters, so they get a fresh salad bar and a change of linen every day. That's pretty unusual for chickens.
And what's your definition of like salad bar? Like your beef salad?
Yeah, well, the idea is that you've got a lot of different species in the forage. I mean, there's plantain, wide leaf plantain, narrow leaf plantain, clover, dandelion, orchard grass.
So all these have
fescue,
different nutrients in them.
Foxtail. Yeah, I mean they all have different different properties, nutritional analysis, different root growth, different top growth.
So you don't have like one obviously monoculture of a.
No, we've never planted a seed in here in 55 years.
Wow.
So I'll show you how we move these guys.
Okay. So you designed this whole thing, and oh, I see. Slip it under there.
So you slip it under, and then you go to the other end.
And that's their feed. And what do you generally feed them?
And then you just pull it. They don't have there's no floor here. The chickens just walk. They just walk
with you.
To the next spot.
Okay. And they probably like to be moved, huh? To get
they love to be moved.
Fresh seeds and fresh. And then you run your cattle through here too every so often.
Yeah, so the chickens like short grass, and so we prepare the table either with the cattle or with a mower. In this particular instance, we mowed some late hay here because we had such a good season, lots of rain. So we mowed it for hay. But we use the cattle as well to to shorten the grass down, and the short grass encourages the chickens to eat more because they like the shorter blades, and it also means that the manure goes right onto the soil instead of bending over the grass, so the chickens stay much cleaner. And the other thing is that it reduces the predation because predators are very, possums and raccoons are pretty vulnerable out here on their own.
With the shorter grass.
So yeah, so big picture here, this is mobile. So the infrastructure is mobile, so you don't have to own the land, okay?
So you can lease it, you're saying?
You can lease it, you can...
If you want to start your own farm?
You can go wherever you need to go, but the point is that it eliminates the capitalization of land from the farm cost, which enables young people to get in.
Which is so expensive now to try to get any kind of land.
When young people can't get in, old people can't get out. So if you're going to have generational transfer, you got to have entry-level models. So it's mobile. You can divorce the farm from its land. It's modular, so it scales up and down. You can start with one shelter, and then you can add them. You can retain earnings and add them as you go. So it's not scale prejudicial because it's modular. And then the third thing is management intensive. So it's mobile, modular, management intensive. And the management intensity, of course, means yes, it is labor intensive, but we are trading. We are taking labor management, if you will, and we're exchanging that for pharmaceuticals, chemicals, energy, high energy intensive infrastructure, and high capital infrastructure. So when you take the high capital infrastructure, energy intensive infrastructure, chemicals, and pharmaceuticals away, we're simply using labor instead. So it's management intensive.
What's the major labor that you are doing with these? It seems like it's not that much.
You got to move them every day. Compare moving 5,000 chickens here.
Is that about how many you have?
What do we got right here? We've got about right here. We've got about 3,000 chickens.
Okay.
We got about 3,000 right here.
How many do you keep in each one?
75 in each shelter.
75. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. But compare that with in the industry, one person will keep up to 150,000.
And that one person can do all that. That's all.
One person, but remember, there's an entire network of concrete manufacturers and energy manufacturers and bankers and a whole cadre of people behind machinery manufacturers, building manufacturers. All that is behind that model, and a lot of pharmaceuticals and chemicals and all that sort of thing.
How long do you keep them in these?
They're out here. They come out here between 2 and 3 weeks, and they're out here for 5 weeks. We dress them at 8 weeks.
Okay.
We dress some at 7, some at 8, some at 9. And but generally they're dressed at about 8 weeks. So they're out here for 5 weeks or so.
Wow, so you get a pretty good production through the whole year.
Oh yeah. So each one of these shelters will have 4 cycles through it in a season.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
So you could really actually make some money and.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, this again. The idea here is that remember this field has been grazed, it's been egg-mobiled, it's been it could have turkeys on it. The point is that it's used for multiple species, multiple enterprises. So you're actually generating multiple income streams from the land base.
And that's what you call stacking?
Stacking economic enterprises on the land base, yeah.
Okay, so somebody, if they had 5 to 20 acres.
Yes. You can make a full-time living because you're stacking these multiple things on the land base.
Wow.
This is a pig pasture here. And just step over that electric fence.
So is this the electric fence you're talking about? That just that holds them in?
Yep.
That we just stepped over.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's all it is. That's all it is. So that's the thing, you know, when the industry says, oh, you know, outdoor pigs, what do you want to do? Go back to, you know, all the diseases that we had in 1920 from outdoor lots and things. They're not realizing that we now have infrastructure like water hose, cool waterers, you know, plastic, electric fence. We've now got the infrastructure that allows us to move these pigs very easily from paddock to paddock. So they're only in here a few days, and they go to another paddock and another paddock and another paddock. And so you don't have the kind of situations that bred the hog cholera epidemics and all the things that the industry is paranoid about. So, you know, our side has not stood still. You know, we now have this wonderful infrastructure. Hello, pigs.
Look at them. They look pretty happy.
Oh, yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, well, if you were a pig, wouldn't you want to be here?
Yeah, instead of those
pigs.
laying down, can't move.
Yeah, factory.
Already.
Yeah. So the pigs.
Hi, guys. Go ahead.
So the pigs, you know, they're only in a given paddock for, you know, anywhere from 5 to 10 or 11 days, and then they move, you know, to another paddock. And so they get all the salad bar they want, and they have a pretty wide variety. You know, they'll eat weeds and leaves and grass and all sorts of things. Plus, they get their GMO-free local feed. You know, so they can have all that they want. So they're never hungry. They're never deprived of. You know, we're not forcing them to eat something. They choose, and of course, they choose a pretty wide variety of things.
Looks like they're scavenging right now.
Yeah. Oh,
they're all over the place.
Right,
Jeez.
Yeah, there's about 50 in here.
And do you feed them like acorns too?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, certainly when things drop, I mean, some of these walnuts right here, when they drop, the pigs will eat those. And oak trees, acorns, persimmons. There's a lot of persimmons in here. These elderberries, as they drop, the pigs will eat them. You know, there's a lot of mass in addition to, you know, bugs and worms and all sorts of things.
So is it kind of similar to like southern Spain when how they have their pigs run through the
Andalusian region? Yeah.
Because those are famous, you know, for their
Right.
meats. So I wonder why we got so far away from that. This fence is amazing, by the way. So just this holds them in, and you could easily move it and transfer it and put it where you want.
Very lightweight, very cheap, non-capital intensive.
So anybody could get involved.
We're advocates. Think that people are too dumb or too stupid to make those kinds of decisions.
To choose. So like if I came and bought something from your farm, whatever it may be, chicken or tomato, and I got sick, I could say, hey, Joel, I got sick from this.
Right.
What's going on?
Right.
And then you'd be like, oh, I better check, or I'm not going to buy a chicken from you.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Anymore.
Yeah.
So you're saying it's that simple where you should know your farmer and instead of being a big produce department that you go to, who knows what got you sick at that point.
Well, and not only that, but you have to understand that the assumption there that the government is the best place to oversee your food safety. The assumption there is that what they're doing right now is efficacious. And anyone who's looking at recalls and the new lexicon of pathogenicity, you know, Listeria, Campylobacter, E. coli, Salmonella, bovine spongiform encephalopathy, you know, those things aren't coming from backyard anything. They're coming from the big industrial sector through the USDA inspection process. That's where those problems are coming from. And for 30 years to teach us how to feed dead cows to cows. And then suddenly there's this worldwide, oops, maybe we shouldn't ought to done that, you know. and now suddenly, of course, that's bad. I mean, look at all the food advice the U.S. told us for all those years to eat hydrogenated vegetable oil and throw the butter and lard out, and now that's they've said there's no safe level of hydrogenated vegetable oil. the fact is, it should give us all pause to realize that we would have a much healthier civilization if the government had never told us what to eat.
I fully agree with that. That's my whole kind of thing is fat is the low fat diet is one of the worst things put on humans.
Right, and now, now we're seeing, now of course, the whole craze with veganism and vegetarianism and all that. I mean, we're actually having a measurable drop in IQ, measurable drop in attention spans. ADHD is going through the roof. Autism. The essential fatty acids. Your brain is a great big fatty acid, and the idea that your brain doesn't need any of these things is just crazy. So these are turkeys out here.
Wow, looks like you're getting ready for Thanksgiving, huh?
Yeah,
coming up soon.
Yeah. Those are
awesome.
pastured turkeys. So we use this electrified netting. This is space age stuff. Again, we're not Luddites. We're totally into.
How beautiful those tomatoes are.
Yeah. So these are turkeys. And
so you developed these electrified nets, or
no? We
fences?
didn't develop them. The industry. I mean, they